Good job, Rock.
Hold it, or you want to?
I'll keep it here for now. Actually, you can hold it. You can hold it.
Have to give it to him?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how I'm going to top that. She basically said everything I wanted to say, but here's my version of myself. First of all, I want to say that I want to open up by saying I didn't get here for my reading and my writing skills, obviously. So I'm not sure why the hell they want me up here. I was told the speech should be about 3 to 5 minutes, which is funny because if you know me in school, sitting still for 5 minutes was probably my biggest accomplishment. But seriously, before I say anything else, I want to take a moment to congratulate my fellow inductees. Congratulations. I know the hard work that it takes to get here. So great job to each and every single one of you guys. I want to take a moment to say thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for getting me here today. I appreciate you. Thank you to all my coaches that has helped me along the way. Thank you to Coach Buddy Matthews for always making sure I stood on the right track and helping me get back on the track in case I fell off, because that was pretty common. Thank you for letting me hang out in your office before some games when I didn't feel good enough for class, but I felt just good enough for baseball. If it wasn't for you, Coach, I probably wouldn't be eligible. Another thank you to Coach Jack Baker, who stepped in for his first year as head coach my senior year. We knew he was in for a ride with that team we had. Lastly, I'd like to acknowledge my athletic trainer, Gerard Friedman, at the time. I would visit him daily, ask him a million questions. He would answer every single one of them. I'm grateful for all the programs he's written me, all the advice he's given me, and certifications he has helped me with, even well after my baseball career. ADHD, not OCD, is the abbreviation for attention hyper deficit disorder. It's when your brain goes from regulating attention to focus, and it's either all over the place or it's locked in like a dog on a bone, like all my fixations, Raquel says. So when you learn how to use that, it can become a superpower, and that's what I did for baseball and my camera stuff now. Most of you remember me as a kid who couldn't sit still, always moving, always distracted, always throwing or breaking something. Cost my parents lots of money, like she mentioned. She's pretty good. You can tell we're sisters, brothers and sisters. She has more nuts. But that's what happens when you grow up in a city with no training facilities. Everything becomes one. Walls, windows, sidewalks, everything had a target on it. So clearly, if you can't tell by now that I have ADHD and not OCD, that probably means that you have it also because you're not paying attention. Growing up with ADHD in school, it was tough for me. Not because I didn't care, but because my brain just worked differently. It would bounce from one thing to another constantly. When I stepped on a baseball field, that's when everything in my life slowed down. It was the one place where I could focus, where I could be myself, and where I felt truly free. That field became the only place where everything made sense. Growing up, like Raquel said, in the Broder house, it was competitive. Crazy, but competitive. And a little more crazy. Everything was a competition. And that's what makes being inducted to the Hoboken Hall of Fame alongside my sister something that I'll carry with me forever. Even though you never had the nuts to play catch me back then, I always knew you had nuts under that skirt. Since basically you were my third brother. We all know who the better athlete is, but that's besides the point. Which leads me to my older brother, Tom. Thanks for letting me be a part of the schoolyard history team, helping me cross the street when nobody else wanted me to play with them. Thanks for leading the way and shitting your pants to show me that all the cool kids shit their pants. Oh, and also, sorry for throwing all your tennis balls over Denver's roof. To my little brother, Ricky, thanks for always being my partner in crime. It sounds like a second version of Raquel's. We used to always go at it, but you're always the one who would play with me the most. Thanks for boosting my confidence at an early age by striking out every time I faced you. And I'm also sorry for hitting bricks with your brand new bat that got you. Just don't get me mad. One of the most supportive people out there, my mom. Even though she has no clue what's going on in the field, all she sees is her kids playing and having fun, and that's just enough for her. She sits there with her legs crossed, just nodding her head up and down, saying, "That's my boy." But then there was just one person who I wanted to prove it all to, more than anyone. Someone who didn't give him much praise at all, not because he wasn't proud, but because he knew I could do better. My dad. He'll come home from work after working overnight, take a nap while we're at school, and practice with us until the sun went down. He'd build us all these different contraptions and types of tools to help us pitch and pitching mounds. He'll tell me, hey, Ken, today we have X amount of pitches outside, get ready. He'll pull out his bucket and sit on it to catch my bullpens. That's probably the reason why he's bow-legged now, because he caught so much. But seriously, my dad was very determined to make sure of the best ability and then some. There was no fooling around when it came to performance. I remember throwing my first perfect game as a sophomore in high school. I went to him and I said, Dad, I just threw a perfect game. You wanna know what his response was? How'd you hit? I said, I don't hit, I can't hit. I went 0 for 3, what do you think I did? Moments like that for a lot of people, it could break them. But for me, it did the opposite. It always made me want more. That I could always do better. And eventually after my second and my third, he would boast to others behind my back, never to me. I remember the first time I truly felt like he was proud. My family dropped me off in my new dorm room in Texas. Everyone said their goodbyes before I went back to the airport. My dad was the last one to hug me. He was standing pretty far away from everybody else at this time. When it finally came to say bye to him, he looked at me in my eyes with tears in his. He ignored me, ignored my handshake, and went right for a hug. He kissed me on my cheek and said, go do your job. That's all I needed to hear. That's what he used to say to me before every single game. That's his way of saying, you put thousands of hours into this sport, go do what you were born to do. Later on that year, I was nominated All-American and Pitcher of the Year. When the season was over, I flew back to New Jersey. He was the first person to meet me at the terminal. He hugged me so tight and long and said, I'm proud of you, GOAT. But that standard, that expectation, is the same thing I carry with me to this day. You can always do more, and the attempt to get more makes you into someone better. A lot of people say baseball is the love of their life. They start at T-ball, they play through high school, they meet teammates along the way, and eventually it all becomes to an end. But for me, baseball wasn't just something I played. It's who I was. It's who I am, and it's who I'll always be. To this day, I'm heavily involved in the game. I help athletes not just throw harder or just run faster or with their mechanics, but become stronger, tougher, more confident versions of themselves. I found purpose in pulling greatness out of players who don't yet realize their own full potential. This wasn't the path I imagined, it really wasn't, but it was the one I was meant to walk. Thank you to the owners of Hudson Baseball Center, Dave is here today with us, who allowed me to mold the next generation of Hoboken athletes. Thank you to one of my first clients, the Wachtels, Randy and Cole, like my second family, for believing in me and trusting me for everything I do with Cole and their kids. I wouldn't be here without you guys. Thank you. To my beautiful girlfriend, Maria, who knows nothing about baseball, but is super supportive for anything I do and anything I put my mind to, I love you. And if there's one thing I want anyone else to take from listening to this, it's this. Be confident in the work you put in, especially when no one else sees it, even when no one else believes in you. And honestly, you do have to be a little bit delusional. Because if you believe in something long enough and you're willing to outwork everyone around you, eventually it will become your reality. Thank you to my family, to my coaches, my teammates, and everyone who's a part of my journey. I wouldn't be here without you. Thank you, guys. Coach, thank you. I love you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You made me look good.